I have Cindy Lee with the Wags and Menace Foundation. How are you today, Cindy?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Now, what brought you up here to the open house today?
I have my own foundation, the Wags and Menace Foundation, and we are a big supporter of Colorado Horse Rescue, and they are having their open house today. And I've helped raise money for new blankets for the horses, and started a new medical fund for the new baby foal that was born this past spring, Apollo, and also some other medical needs for the other horses.
That's really fantastic. What originally spurred you to get involved in animal rescue and helping animals like this?
Oh, I've done enormous amount of time in the corporate world and just always wanted to facilitate my passion. And the animals need help to be the voice, and I want to be their voice. And with my foundation, I teach, volunteer, and raise money in over 1,100 miles from Fort Collins to Telluride.
And that's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for all the work you do. Now, tell me, are you only horses or all types of animals?
Oh, I do all types of animals. No reptiles. As you know, Colorado is not really educated in that matrix, but I help bunnies, ferrets, horses, dogs, and also educate the owners to know how to medically and physically take care of them for a longer, happy life.
That's great. Now your foundation works. You don't work in a shelter yourself. You branch out to all the other shelters. Is that right?
Yes, I help about over 14 shelters and animal hospitals and rescues in the state. I try and cover all those levels from that area, as well as I teach at Boys and Girls Club and also teach in very economically challenged areas to help ignite kids who have been abused as the animals and know that animals can be their friends through tough times.
Okay. Now, can you tell me, in maybe the past couple years, tell me one of your most favorite heartwarming stories?
Oh, well, I would say here at Colorado Horse Rescue, I do Petline 9 on TV, and met Rascal, who was a horse that was literally half starved. And to see a horse almost a third of its body weight is enough to just put you over. And got a whole medical fund set up for him and got him well and everything else. And also when I teach Boys and Girls Club in these tough areas, I had a little boy write a letter to my dog Baxter, who was abused, and said, "Baxter, I know what it's like to be abused and you're going to be okay." And I must have cried for hours when I read that letter.
Oh wow, that is heartwarming. Can you tell me, what would you say is the most difficult part of your job?
The difficult part is, well, it's when the phone rings. You know, it's that Batman phone call when there's an emergency, and you've got to just be able to get medical care ready, foster care ready, and know that they have enough tools and supplements to get things going. I've helped with a lot of the wild Mustangs to help them get well that have been rescued, as well as fire victims and displaced people from the Boulder fires, and well, it just goes on and on. But I want to be a part of that solution.
It sounds like you are. That's really fantastic. What is there? What would you say is the most pressing, the most needy shelter or area right now today?
Boy, you know, they're all pretty much in a dire need. The economic downturn has really continued with many of the hospitals and shelters, and I try and help the big shelters, the small shelters, foster care, education, as much as I can weave into the region and environment to know that education and medical needs and the process can be continuous to help with all the needs every day.
Right now, from my perspective, it seems like medical needs would be the most overlooked donation. Would that be your take as well?
I would have to say absolutely, and that's why that's been a real mainstay for my foundation and mission statement. The medical is imperative. There was a dog down in Telluride that was left with a broken leg on the side of the road and half starved, and that's where my whole calling comes in to say, okay, let's educate the environment, get it in a better process. And it's one of those things where you have to always have the medical care there, because if you can't get past the medical part, the adoption and foster will not solidify.
Right. Okay, so 1,100 miles is so much area for you to be covering. What would you say is the farthest that you traveled? Telluride seems pretty far.
Yes, it is, but when I get an emergency phone call, I'm there. I have traveled in the middle of the night way out east. I've traveled to where I can't read a sign, but I know that I am there for a reason, to be, the kingship to getting the situation under control, because medical is imperative. And it's not an educated component with people. They're more interested in seeing an animal in a shelter. That's their educational mindset, rather than it took a lot for the dog to get there to be adopted. And I am part of that reactive stage. I want to get to a point where we can be proactive with society on this.
Okay. And in an emergency situation, who is it that's calling you? You seem like the go-between person, like you deal with people who need to give their animals as well as the shelters. So who are you getting those calls from in an emergency situation?
They come from everybody. They can come from a stranger in a gas station, to a high-tech vet, to someone here at Horse Rescue, or a foster mom. I've been fortunate enough to build my reputation of the foundation to be able to be there on all those levels, the smaller or the bigger, and just know to help to resolve the issue, because it's always a medical emergency. And that's one thing that most people don't have that makeshift in the right alignment with.
Right. All right. So if somebody wanted to donate to your foundation, or if they had an emergency, what would be the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Well, I'm on Facebook. Wags the Menace Foundation page is on there, and I'm Cindy A. Lee. I have my own Facebook page too. Okay. And also the Wags the Menace Foundation has their own website, wagsthemenace.org. And we are always there to help, no matter what the situation is. A lot of times you're a troubleshooter to, if you will, connect the dots with the vet and the rescue and all of that. But more importantly is to have the funding to facilitate the full stage for this animal that needs rescue.
Okay. Cindy, you are an angel for these animals, and I think if the world had more people like you, it'd be a much better place for animals and people alike. It was a pleasure to meet you, and thank you so much, and I hope to interview you and talk to you again sometime soon.
Absolutely, and my big take is you must be the change you want to see in the world, and you've got to just be contagious to people and get them on the right path.
Right. Okay, thank you so much.